Payback is a 1999 American film written and directed by Brian Helgeland, his first feature, actually, and stars Mel Gibson, Gregg Henry, and Maria Bello. Payback is a remake of the 1967 film Point Blank with Lee Marvin, and it's also based off the 1962 novel The Hunter by Donald E. Westlake. That said, Payback has some differences. But it's not unusual for a remake to take liberties like that, and you aren't going to please the audience either way with remakes usually. Although back in '99, it was a little bit different. The plot follows a thug named Porter, played by Mel Gibson, who's betrayed and left for dead by his partner after a heist. And you follow him as he gets back on his feet so that he can get his revenge and the $70,000 that's rightfully his, and not a penny more. I didn't know that this was based off of a 1967 film back in 1999 when I first saw this. In fact, I wouldn't really learn that for many, many years. I just thought it was this cool kind of neo-noir crime film, which it is. I just didn't know its history. But the way that it feels like a 50s, 60s, crime film is really cool to me. The world building is just stellar. This is maybe my favorite part about this. Payback was filmed in Chicago and LA, but it's never discussed in the story, like no cities are referenced. Though I do get major Chicago vibes, which is perfect for this. Everything looks old for 1999, and by design, and I love it. Everything is grimy, and the colors were intentionally bland and washed out. Mel Gibson has gone on record actually saying that he would have liked it to have been filmed in black and white. And everyone in this world seems to be a villain. There are no good guys here. Not even the cops, and that's how we want it. And certainly not our main character, Porter. He's not a good guy either. I mean, hell, not even the doctors, because the film actually starts with a doctor. I mean, I assume he's a real doctor, but he's digging slugs out of Porter's back with medical instruments that he sterilized with whiskey. That we've seen that scene in other movies, but here it just totally works. And man, I just miss when movies used to look like this, because in addition to the grimy, crime-ridden city, it took me literal seconds to realize that I loved the cinematography here. And I can't say that I've ever really taken note of Erikson Kor's work before, but I think he does a pretty excellent job here with the shot framing and taking the story exactly where it needs to go. And I think that Brian Helgeland did a fantastic job here. And I think that he just simply was the right guy for the job, coming from a tough working class background. And to prove that point, it's the opinion of many, many critics that Helgeland's director's cut is actually by far the superior cut, since he clashed on set with Mel Gibson to the point where Gibson actually got him fired. And this all sounds like a mess, right? We've heard this story a million times with a million different movies. But I have a major soft spot for Payback. I wouldn't consider it a classic, but I do think that it has stood the test of time. It's a character-driven film, as you would hope for with these, gritty crime movies, at least I always do. And it has some great characters, too. We spend almost the entire runtime with Porter, so he's definitely the focal point. But the script makes time for some great villains, my favorite being Val, played by the great Gregg Henry, a veteran scenery chewer. We also get Lucy Liu as a triad-connected dominatrix, David Paymer and Bill Duke as crooked detectives, and Chris Christopherson as the final boss. And how can you not love Chris? This is very much a mission-based film, if you will, like a film version of Grand Theft Auto or something. You pretty much follow Porter as he systematically, targets the gangsters who betrayed him. It's a classic American crime story formula, and I think it works very well here. The whole tone and vibe, just spot on, for me, at least. I'm giving Payback an easy 6.5 out of 10, and I could go as high as a 7. I kind of considered that. And I have literally just ordered the director's cut, so when that arrives, I plan on reviewing that as well, because I actually didn't know about it until preparing for this review, so I'm super, super excited. As soon as it shows up, I'm watching that. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.